everybody, and welcome back to the 50-day challenge. As always, we have Matt L in the room with us. Jared cannot join us today because he's got a gig this whole week. In fact, he's busy with gigs. But we're also joined today with Mongezi Mevana. He is going to talk to us a little bit about real estate agents, what they do, why they are important, etc. And then hopefully we can gauge some information from him in terms of buying property and how to transfer property and all that sort of thing. So I thought it important for us to discuss this matter because a lot of Mongezi, a lot of guys or people out in sellers always want to always ask the question, why do I have to pay you a commission? What do you do for me? It's so easy to sell a house, and I have to pay you all this money. And I just wanted to sort of run through some of those with you to see your thoughts on it and what your feelings are on whether a estate agent is actually important or not. So looking into what a real estate agent is, answer this question for me. Why do I, as a seller, or even a buyer for that matter, need a real estate agent?
So we provide quite an important function in real estate transactions. We've got quite a good overview of the market. We deal with both parties, buyers and sellers. We see a lot of property. And if we're also part of a team, we liaise with our colleagues and we discuss these property transactions, what buyers are looking for, what sellers are looking for. And with that advice and knowing what purchasers are willing to pay for certain properties, that advice is quite critical to sellers for them to know, do they need to renovate? What do they need to do in order to achieve a good price? And likewise, buyers need our advice. They need our knowledge of the market, what the market's been doing in the last 3 to 5 years. So those trends are quite important, and we bring those because we've got that overview for both parties.
So what I'm hearing from you, Mongezi, is basically you have an understanding of the market, whereas a buyer and a seller doesn't. They coming into the market, either the buyer looking for a property or the seller trying to sell their property with absolutely no knowledge of the market, what the purchase price should be, what the market values are, what the the strategy for going in there to try and sell or buy. So you offer that service to help them or navigate the market. I would say that's probably the sort of hopefully a nice summary of what it is you do then.
Absolutely, spot on.
Okay, so tell me then, what as a real estate agent, what is your actual job?
Well, it's finding sellers who have a lifestyle change for whatever reason it may be. Finding those sellers and giving them a market related evaluation on their property, and then putting those properties on the market to try and achieve a favorable price for the sellers. And likewise, buyers are looking for lifestyle changes, as to find buyers what they're looking for. So our job is to bring to market and satisfy the needs of a buyer, and hopefully satisfy the needs of a seller who's also looking for a lifestyle change.
All right, that's great. So then let's talk about the interests of the buyer and the seller, and how a real estate agent is positioned or best positioned to protect the interests of both the buyer and the seller. Can you talk us through a little bit about that? How do you, as a real estate agent, protect the interests of a buyer and or a seller?
So I'll start with sellers because they're generally our clients, and our clients are deemed as anyone who pays our commission. So privacy is quite important that we maintain that for our sellers. I mean, they might be selling because of different reasons. It could be financial reasons. It could be the death of a lost one. It could be that maybe it's a happy sale because they're looking for something bigger, so we understand these needs. And especially the financial side of these transactions, we understand them, what they need to net and all these critical points. So with our understanding, we need to keep that information as private as possible and not disclose the information which could potentially jeopardize how much the seller is able to achieve, especially if it's a desperate seller. We don't want to jeopardize the seller's net price. And so likewise as well, the buyers often have a certain budget. And we need to tailor that budget to make them understand the market, because we've obviously sold in an area, normally agents, we work a farming area. So we then get that expert advice. So we need to help these buyers say, you've got X amount of money, this is what this can get you. So that is our role.
All right, fantastic. So for those out there listening, we have Mongezi Mevana from England Focus talking to us about real estate agents, what their role is, and what basically how they protect the interests of a buyer and a seller, and why it's important to have a real estate agent that helps you navigate the market in terms of pricing, etc. And we have Matt L in the room with us as always. Matt L, at this point in time, are there any questions that you have for Mongezi? Is there anything specific that you want to ask him about your search for a property? Now you're looking for your third property already. Is there anything specific that you'd like to ask him?
Hi, I think the main question I have, and I think a lot of people also might want to get an understanding of it, when it comes to the commission that a real estate agent takes from the sale of a property, is it a set amount or is it a set percentage, or what's usually the going rate?
So the industry norm is somewhere between 5 and 7.5%, but it's not a set amount, because we sit and we discuss these percentages with sellers. At times a seller tells us that they need to net a certain percentage, and so we need to agree on a commission, which is sometimes a bit fluid, because depending on where the offers come in and what the eventual price achieved is, sometimes we need to be quite fluid to help the seller and the buyer to make the deals work.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So then I've got a couple more questions. So you've as a real estate agent, what other than finding buyers and finding sellers, what other services do you guys offer within your package as real estate agents?
So I mean, we also do rentals, because some people might not want to buy. Some people are not ready to buy. So some people are looking to first understand the area, get to know the area. So they do that by renting a property in that area. So we offer fully fledged rental services. We manage properties as well. We're a global company, so some of our clients are sitting abroad. And some of those clients need to know that if something wrong happens in a property, we can offer that maintenance services for them. So that's what we do. Before bringing properties to the market, we need to evaluate them. We need to go in there and be quite objective about pricing. Obviously the seller is always going to want the highest possible price, and the buyer is going to want the lowest possible price for him to pay. but we need to be very objective with our knowledge of the markets. And so we provide evaluations for sellers, for estates, and we provide evaluations as well if maybe people are going through a divorce, they need to split the assets. So those are some of the services that we provide.
All right, that's awesome. So it's not just about buying and selling, but you actually offer other services as well. That's fantastic. Okay, then I think the last question for today, from my side anyway, is recently we had the property practitioners bill become law. And I think it was the 1st of February that it became effective. And the question that I have for you, how does the new property practitioners bill affect you as a real estate agent? And what do we as buyers and sellers need to know about the property practitioners bill that is important to us, and how does it affect our lives?
So I'll start with buyers and sellers because you guys are critical in this equation. So, I mean, now you know that for certainty, you're going to be interacting with property professionals who have an FFC, a Fidelity Fund Certificate, which is quite critical because these are large sums of money. We offer advice on some of the largest purchases that clients will ever make in their lives. So now you can rest assured that you are dealing with someone who's got expert advice. They registered. If anything goes wrong, you have a claim as well. And especially where it comes to, again, protecting customers' information, that PPA Act serves a very good purpose.
So tell us a little bit about claims. I mean, under what circumstances would I be able to claim, and where do I claim if I have such a claim?
So related to disclosure, I mean, we need, as agents, we need to disclose certain information to buyers, and some of that information might not relate to defects on the property, might relate if there's someone's died there, if there was a crime there. So all of that information we need to gather from a seller when we take a property to market, and we need to disclose these things to buyers because this informs the purchaser whether to go ahead or not. So in such situations, if we don't disclose that information, you can possibly claim from the Estate Agency Affairs Board. And now they've changed, I think it's the Property Professionals, I'm forgetting the new term, I'm still trying to get used to it. But yeah, it's the Estate Agency Affairs Board where you can claim.
All right, I'm actually looking at my emails now to see what the new, it's called the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority. That's a new name for the Estate Agencies Affairs Board. Yeah, I actually got an email from them last week with the new laws and everything that relates to it. But effectively, that the new act actually protects buyers and sellers not only with regard to property practitioners, but also in terms of the actual sale itself. So if anything goes wrong in the sale, or if there's a defect that is not disclosed at the beginning, the buyer can actually claim either from the property practitioner or from the seller. And if neither party is able to, or disappears, or whatever the case may be, the buyer can then go to the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority to claim. Is that what, am I hearing you correctly?
Correct. So if something is not disclosed and that information was known to the agent or to the seller, definitely there's a claim there.
Okay, but now let's say something has gone wrong and something wasn't disclosed, but I can't prove that the property practitioner or the seller knew about it up front. What happens then? Is there no claim, or can I still claim?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question because one's always got to prove. And this is where agents we come in, because we've got to be transparent and we've got to be honest to all the parties involved. So if I know that I haven't disclosed something, I can't be hiding that information. I need to be quite truthful to any of the parties that are affected.
All right, but at the end of the day, if I can't prove that there was a deliberate non-disclosure, let's call it that, then I most likely won't be able to claim from the property practitioners regulatory authority then. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not going to be that easy. I mean, I know there's also claims of negligence, of disclosures or defects that I should have seen quite easily, with my knowledge. So if I've been negligent, so there's another angle where you might be able to claim.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that for today. Mongezi, thank you very much for joining us and enlightening us a little bit around real estate agents, what your roles are. For those guys out there, we just like to thank Mongezi Mevana from the company Engel & Focus, who's here with us today, just enlightening us a little bit about estate agents, why they're important. Matt asked a very important question in terms of commissions, and so the very last question then, Mongezi, that I'm going to ask you in relation to the commission structure, and the thing that I said earlier on about sellers sometimes saying you didn't really do anything for me. The commission that you charge, what does that include? What services do you include in that commission structure to justify whatever that percentage is, whether it's 3% or 7.5%? What services are included in that commission to justify that cost?
So most importantly, I mean, we only get paid when we sell a property or when we reach a deal. So we often work on overpriced properties and we don't get paid. We've got overheads, we've got offices, we've got marketing costs that we do online in order for our properties to be featured. So the marketing cost is one huge cost. I mean, we need to rent offices as well. We've got general expenses as well, petrol and all those sorts of things. But most importantly, the knowledge that we bring to the market, because if we price a property market related, a seller's got a very good chance of selling within a good time and getting the best possible price. So all of the services we bringing to the fore in order to, if you like, justify what we charge. And obviously photographer, it goes without saying that.
All right, excellent. Mongezi Mevana from Engel & Focus, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for enlightening us about estate agencies and your role in the whole process of buying and selling of property. And for this session, we'd like to thank you and Matt Al. And for those out there, we hope that you're following this journey and you too are involved and trying to purchase your first property within this 50-day challenge. Thank you very much and goodbye.